Hi guys, my name is Wayne Quinton. I just want to talk to you about how to make 48 million from free family buy-to-lets. This video shows you how to make 48 million pounds from just free family buy-to-lets. Now, whichever strategy you use, whichever way you plan to move forward, what we want to do if we're planning to move forward is we want to get financially free. Now, there are 4 profit levers. When I started out investing in property, I was a tight Lancashire man. And I was like, I must get discount. It was the only criteria in the whole wide world. It must be discounted. The trouble is, discount is just one of the 4 profit levers. Whichever strategy you go for, so profit lever number 1 is discount, okay? How many times does this pay you? It pays you once, doesn't it? As I said, I'm a tight Lancashire man. I always like it rather than not. And I'll teach you how to always buy with discount, right? But it does only pay you once. What's the second profit lever? The second profit lever is cash flow. And some people are just, it must be good cash flow, now. How many times does cash flow pay you? Cash flow pays you forever, doesn't it? It pays you this year, it pays you next year, it pays you the year after that, it pays you 4 years' time. You're still getting it. Now, if you go for what I call family buy-to-let property, your cash flow might be £200 per calendar month, let's say, which might be 2,400 a year, okay? I'm talking about family lets that's worth between 70 and 140. That's what you're spending it, not an expensive one that you shouldn't be buying. I'll come back to that, right? Service accommodation, if you own it, might be £12,000 of profit. And if it's rent to service accommodation, £10,000 a year of profit from it. Now, a holiday let in the niche of multi-generational holiday lets, that is something that I specifically teach. The only one in the UK that teaches this, right? Sleep 16 holiday let. In the staycation boom, we're doing 50 grand a year profit from one property. But let's say £30,000 for now, okay? Because that's what happened before COVID. And that's where it'll settle back down in the next year or two. Right, what's the third profit lever? The third profit lever is capital growth. Capital growth, you may or may not know this stat, over the last 90 years, the property market has gone up on average 7.9% per annum. Yeah, 7.9% on average. Now, that means on average the property prices double every 8 years. Now, by the way, if you don't have to take my word on this, if you want, write this down, go to Land Registry House Price Data Index. That's where all the Land Registry sales are registered. Here's a chart from the website. Right, you can see the average house price back in 1969, 68, 3,600 quid. By 2020, the average house was £250,000. In fact, over that period we're looking at there's a 50-year period, the average house price went up by 8.5%. And last year it went up 10 in the UK. So we're probably up to 260, 270 now. So these prices go up whether you believe it or not. They go up and people say, surely that can't carry on. When they said that I could show you the newspaper clippings from the 1920s, 30s, the 1940s, 50s, 60s and 70s, they'll never go up. It will, and it keep going up. For many factors, we don't have time to cover it here. In fact, I've done another video on it, house price data. Go and watch it. So capital growth pays you forever, doesn't it? Yes, forever. So it's got to be at the table. There's no point in buying a property in London that has good equity growth but no cash flow, or cash flow when mortgage rates go back to normal rates. Equally, there's no point in buying a property in Hartlepool. People say that looks great on paper for cash flow, but never gets any equity growth. You need both at the table. And if you've got both at the table, and only if you've got both, you get the fourth profit lever. Property profit lever, which is the ability to refinance or remortgage. To take the equity out and buy more houses when it's gone up in value, or it goes up in value, you take the equity out and you spend it and you have a great life, right? But you can only do the refinance if 2 and 3 are both at the table. This is a big mistake people make. They look for 1 and not the other 2. Plus 3 allows you to do 4, otherwise you can't. Now you might say that's interesting, but so what? So what? Well, here's what if I show you is why these profit levers are so interesting. Let's look at the family let properties. Okay, family let properties. So let's assume with our 125 grand that we have, or 120, we go and get ourselves 3 family buy-to-lets. These are buy-to-lets valued between 70 and 140 grand top line value. Why? Because that's the right price point you should be buying at. I'm going to assume again on the first profit lever that you get 0 discount. But you do go and get 3 buy-to-let properties, okay? And each of these buy-to-let properties makes you a couple of £100 a month. Let's say for these numbers, 2.5 grand a year. Times 3, it's making you on cash flow. The second profit lever, 7.5 grand for the next 40 years. That is £300,000 of cash flow profit. You can just spend on holiday, travelling around the world, or whatever you want to do in the next 40 years, right? Not bad. 3 buy-to-lets now. What's profit lever number 3? It's capital growth, isn't it? Remember, number 2 has cash flow profit. Lever 3 is capital growth. So if you start with these 3 properties, let's say they're 100 grand each, so 300 grand's worth of property, and we say it doubles every 8 years, but we're going to say it's every 10. It becomes worth £600,000, which becomes 1.2 million. These 3 houses do in total value by 20 years from now £2.4 million. Doubles after 40 years, 4.8 million. That's what they'll be worth. And you might say, really? What was 100 grand house worth 40 years ago? Do the maths, don't take my word for it. Go on Land Registry website and see the map. So in this example, our capital growth has gone from 300 grand to 4.8 million. It's £4.5 million of capital growth. Let's half it again to be ultra cautious like before. 2.25 million of capital growth. When you add the cash flow and the equity growth together, you've just made, because you found the money and you've learnt the skill to buy the right houses, not the wrong ones, £2.5 million. Or divide by 3 for each house. You've managed to make over £800,000 of cash and equity profit because you bothered, because you learnt the right skill. This is 2.5 million divided by 3 because you learnt the right skill and you applied yourself. You got it done. If you don't go and get these 3 houses, you don't get to make the 800 grand a house, right? Step 4, the ability to refinance. Come on, Wayne, this is crazy already. Well, I'll tell you what, if you start with 3 houses in 10 years' time, it triples. So you've had 9, 10 years after that, putting not another single penny in yourself. You will have 27, 10 years after that. You'll have 81 of these babies 10 years after that. And by year 40, you'll have 243 of these buy-to-let properties. And you started with just 3 and let time look after you. No more money added to the buy-to-lets. Let's half that to 120. Let's half it again to 60. And we have half the equity growth. We have half the number of properties that we'd had. Again, so we've quarter all of that. And you've still got 60 properties or 800 grand each. £48 million from this strategy. 48 million quid. That's what you'll have for family buy-to-lets over the next 40 years. That's something that you won't have if you don't go and buy 3 buy-to-lets this year. The right buy-to-lets, yeah? The right buy-to-lets. 48 million from 3 family-let buy-to-lets. I really hope this is landing in some way. I know I'm having to go through it relatively quickly because I could spend weeks with you on this. I could spend days and days with you, right? This works. It's the basic maths of property. This works, but someone needs to explain it to you, to get you motivated, to get you revved up. So if you take the consistent action and you go and get this done for you and your family and everyone else around you, don't mess about, get it done, and you'll get financially free. Surely that's the goal. Surely that's where you want to get to. If this is helpful, then please like, share, and don't forget, subscribe. Thank you.